What's going on, guys? This week, if you didn't know, EchoCast Overload is the event happening all week. We've already been streaming it the past couple days and I've been having so much fun with it. If you guys want to come check out my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/thickfilet_, you can earn some free legendary loot just by watching the stream. Come meet me more personally and my community. I'll see you guys there. So today we're going to be talking about bonus elements and bonus projectiles. Obviously, if you guys have been paying attention to the recent patches, this is no longer in the game. This affected a bunch of weapons I have up on the screen, and I want to talk about exactly how it affected these weapons. Now, I know most of you already know that, but I want to talk about how we can possibly buff these weapons and bring them back up to par. So with that being said, let's hop straight into it. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is exactly what happened with this change and exactly how it affected these weapons. First off, I want to mention the reflux, because the reflux, people think this weapon actually lost damage. Technically, it did not. The reflux did not get bonus chains, and let me explain that in a second. So first off, we do have to mention that bonus elements were creating bonus projectiles with all of these weapons on the list that I have highlighted. The wedding invite, the unseen threat, the lead sprinkler, all the call weapons, the redistributor, and most off, the recursion. So like I said, all of these weapons were affected. Let me tell you guys how the reflux was actually affected. So a lot of people think the reflux got bonus chains with bonus elements, but it did not. Now the reflux and the brainstormer for that matter, how they actually work is basically each pellet has a chance to create a chain, and the reflux and the brainstormer can have up to 5 chains going at once. And basically what bonus elements were doing were stacking these chains faster. So each chain, basically you will get about 1 to 2 chains per shot with the reflux or the brainstormer with a ×7. And what would happen were these bonus elements were just triggering these chains a lot more. So you would apply, 1 to 3 bonus elements if you're playing flak on a reflux or a brainstormer, and you would get 5 chains almost instantly. And that's why it was so powerful. So just so you guys know, the reflux was not actually, the damage was technically not touched at all. It just does not stack chains as fast anymore. And if you guys want to stack chains faster, you need to look for the ×14 refluxes now. You want to basically use the double penetrating version of this weapon. Now, with that out of the way, let's delete it off the list because it was not actually creating bonus projectiles with bonus chains. Now, another thing I want to talk about is how exactly was the damage affected. Now, a lot of people assume since, 1 bonus element equals 1 bonus ricochet or chain, that means bonus elements add double the damage, but it's not exactly that simple, and let me tell you what I mean. So basically, when you took a weapon, let's say the redistributor, for example, and you shoot an enemy with it, the redistributor chains between enemies, right? So what happens when we add bonus 100% Sentinel Cryo? This was creating a bonus chain. But what you guys also have to realize is not only was it creating a bonus chain, but this bonus chain was also getting Sentinel Cryo. So not only are we doubling the chains, but we are also doubling the bonus to Sentinel Cryo. So essentially, this was making your damage go up ×4 from an unanointed redistributor to a Sentinel Cryo redistributor against neutral targets, obviously. This was basically increasing the damage ×4 because not only do you get a bonus chain, but that bonus chain or that bonus ricochet or whatever also gets the bonus element fully applied to it as well. So a lot of these weapons, and there were specific weapons like these ones listed and a couple more I may have missed, but you guys get the point. All of these weapons were affected a lot harder than just getting a bonus projectile or a bonus chain, because that bonus projectile or bonus chain also got the same bonus element. It's kind of like double dipping bonus elements. It's pretty crazy, but I'm not gonna lie, it seriously did create this weird meta and also tons of lag, especially in multiplayer. Even weapons like the redistributor were lagging people in multiplayer. Random stuff causing serious performance issues to the game. Personally, I do believe this was ultimately the right change, but like Gearbox said, they are going to monitor this change and the community's feedback. So here I am trying to provide my feedback on what we can do for these weapons. So another thing I kind of want to mention before we move forward is Jacob weapons. Now, a lot of people assume that the entire Jacob's manufacturer got nerfed, and that is not exactly true. It's kind of true to an extent, but realistically, only the Ricochet was nerfed. So besides some of the Jacob's weapons I have listed above, just your average Jacob weapon, let's go with a one pump chump, for example. It worked just like this picture in the background, where the one pump chump still gets the full single target damage to the enemy you're targeting. It's just that this Ricochet to the second player is now gone. So that is a literal visual example of what disappeared. Just this bonus chain. So in my opinion, the Jacob's manufacturer as a whole was not overly affected by this. It was just a minor effect. So we're gonna remove this from the list as well. And that essentially leaves us with these weapons I have listed. I might have missed one or two. Apparently the Bearcat was giving bonus projectiles with bonus elements, so let's add that to the list. Now, all of these weapons were directly affected. All of their DPS was directly affected. A lot of these weapons, like the Carrier, the Lead Sprinkler, the Hyperfocus was one of the big ones. A lot of people love to use these weapons, and the thing is, their direct single target damage was dramatically decreased by this. The Lead Sprinkler is a great example. When you shoot an enemy, an explosive round pops out, and with bonus elements, you can get this effect multiple times. And this was all to a single target. And the thing is, this weapon is ultimately not as good anymore. So it's a little bit different than the Jacob Ricochet, for example, because like the one pump chump, if we stick the one pump chump right here, this still does the full single target damage that it used to do. And at the same time as that, these other weapons were affected a lot more dramatically, in my opinion. And once again, in my opinion, these are the weapons that we should focus on as a community, getting buffed in future upcoming hotfixes and patches. I also do actually want to add the Reflex and Brainstormer back on this list. Perhaps they can possibly slightly increase the chance to chain, because that was something that we were getting with bonus elements. But now that those are gone, maybe they need a little bit help chaining a little bit better, you know? Now, when it comes to buffing these specific weapons, I think we want to look at it case by case. Some of these weapons like the Hyperfocus and even a lot of the call weapons could just use a bonus projectile. Like, what if Hyperfocus could roll as ×2 now? What if you could get a ×2 King's Call or a ×3? You know, I think a lot of these weapons with their bonus projectiles were not causing the game to lag. Like the Hyperfocus never made me lag even once, but the Hyperfocus is a great example of a weapon that got bonus, I don't even know what to call the Hyperfocus. Ricochets, I guess. Bonus ricochets with the bonus elements. And, you know, this just really isn't a weapon that I want to pick up anymore. And I know a lot of us really enjoyed using this weapon. I could see this weapon being fine as a ×2 or even a ×3. And same goes for all of the call weapons, the King's Call, the Rowan's Call, the Queen's Call as well, and the Lucian's Call. All of these weapons feel like they are a certain niche in BL3, and at the same time as that, they just don't feel useful in Mayhem 10. The King's Call, I think, held on the most. You can still get some okay usage out of the King's Call, but definitely not like you used to be able to. And especially if you are an Amara player, like I showed this example here of, you know, just one bonus chain. The thing about that is that if you were playing Amara, for example, or even Flak for that matter, and applying multiple bonus elements, you notice this change way more dramatically because you get rid of this ricochet per bonus element. Now, I'm not saying that we should just add all these bonus projectiles back, because I think some of it was, you know, a little bit crazy. Some of it was definitely going a little bit overboard, but 2 extra projectiles or 1 or 2 extra projectiles, I think could possibly be a fine fix to these weapons. And then, you know, let's talk about the recursion for a second. Obviously, the recursion was hit the hardest. We all know that. I don't think we can add bonus projectiles back to this weapon, considering that this weapon was the largest culprit of lag and the biggest abuser of this glitch. The recursion itself might possibly just need a buff, or maybe we could just leave it in the past. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about that one. But I would really love to see some of these weapons, like the hyperfocus, the call weapon specifically, even like some of these weapons. I know a lot of people started to use the wagon wheel recently. I believe some of these weapons could actually get bonus projectiles, or just maybe more weapon damage buffs. I don't know. Maybe even an anointment, like extra projectile anointments could be very cool if implemented correctly. For those of you who remember the Halloween event, you know that you could stack bonus projectiles on that projectile anointment forever, and you can basically stack it up and glitch it out that way. Maybe we don't need any more bonus projectile anointments for that reason. They seem very buggy and exploitable in this game. So ultimately, I really just wanted to make this video to put out into the community, like Gearbox kind of asked us to do. I want to see these weapons buffed again, especially, in my opinion, the call weapons. Now, you know, I am biased. I got a whole Dirty Dan build that used almost nothing but call weapons. And especially the Lucian's Call. The Lucian's Call was nerfed back in Mayhem 3. They nerfed the accuracy of it largely. I forget if they nerfed the damage. That honestly felt like a really unfair nerf, in my opinion, considering that the Lucian's Call did about half the damage of the Rowan's Call, and it was actually more accurate than the Rowan's Call to begin with, and faster firing, and that felt like the trade-off. Like you were trading less damage for more fire rate and more accuracy, but then they nerfed the accuracy of it. I would really love to see these weapons rise up again. A lot of them were so much fun back in Mayhem 3 for those of you who played during those days. And yeah, so like I said, you know, I don't know the exact answer for how to buff these weapons. I definitely know that a weapon like the King's Call or a weapon like the Hyperfocus, the Carrier, even the Lead Sprinkler could definitely create a little bit more projectiles without causing the game to lag, because none of these weapons have ever caused the game to lag on me. Whereas something like the Redistributor actually could get a little bit laggy in multiplayer, and I think we would rather just buff this weapon's damage instead of giving it bonus projectiles. But I just kind of wanted to put these ideas out there. Like I said, hopefully getting the community to talk about it a little bit more. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel for more Borderlands 3 videos. Anyways, guys, I'll see you in the next one. I'm out.